Hold up. Wait a minute. I wish you love, peace, and hair grease.
Love, peace, and hair grease, y'all.
Yeah, you know I'm shooting straight from the hip.
This is Carla Renata, aka the Curvy Critic, and I shoot straight from the hip.
Yeah, you know I'm shooting straight from the hip.
Hi, everybody. It's your girl, Carla Renata, aka the Curvy Film Critic, and welcome back to another episode of the Curvy Film Critic with Carla Renata. I'm your host, Carla Renata, and what I do here is I talk about movies, I review them, and I speak to people above and below the line in the film industry. They could be directors, cinematographers, editors, sound designers, costume designers, you name it, I usually talk to them. But I got a special surprise for y'all today. You are going to be so excited. I'm excited too. But let me tell you what the show is about first before I get into them. So today, I think I teased that I saw Wakanda Forever. So I spoke with the entire cast of Wakanda Forever and one of the producers, Nate Moore. I also went to the AFI Film Festival, so I have a plethora of films that I'm going to talk about from there. But two people that I love and adore their work, and they know this, are Betsy West and Julie Cohen. They are spectacular documentarians who have brought us RBG about Ruth Bader Ginsburg. They brought us My Name is Polly Murray about my Howard Bison, Polly Murray. And now they have Gabby Giffords Won't Back Down. Let me tell you a little bit about Julie and Betsy. They are Academy Award nominated. Yeah, you heard me right. Academy Award nominated, Emmy-winning filmmakers who directed and produced the theatrical documentary RBG. Like I said, their film Julia was released theatrically by Sony Pictures Classic in 2021 and was shortlisted for an Academy Award. My Name is Polly Murray premiered last year at the Sundance Film Festival and was released by Amazon Studios. And they are thrilled, y'all, absolutely thrilled to have premiered Gabby Giffords Won't Back Down at the South by Southwest Film Festival. Now, if you don't know who Gabby Giffords is, she is the former Arizona Congresswoman who was fighting really, really hard for, bipartisanship on Capitol Hill when an assassination attempt kind of threw her life into a tailspin. And her husband, Mark, who is a former astronaut, is also featured in this documentary. There's interviews with Barack Obama, a number of her friends and colleagues. And the film is literally about a rising star in the political arena whose life was transformed by gun violence. And it's a close-up portrait of the marriage that sustains her. So now that you know about Betsy and Julie, and now that you know about all of the projects that they worked on, I'm going to bring Betsy and Julie to the stage. First, I'm going to bring up Betsy.
Hi, Carla.
I'm so excited. And now I'm going to bring up Julie.
Hello there.
Hey, let's see if I can throw some color on here. Bam!
There she goes.
Hi, you guys. It's so wonderful to see you.
Great to be here.
Oh, I thank y'all so much for coming live for me. Let me ask you this, going straight into it, because I don't want to hold you long. I know it's probably really late where you are. But I imagine you were probably nervous going into making this particular doc. And I just want to know if you were and why you were so nervous going into this one. I'll start with Julie first.
Yeah, we were nervous. And the reason why is Gabby Giffords, what a spectacular woman. One of the many challenges in her life, kind of the biggest day-to-day struggle, is a language impairment called aphasia that makes both verbal and written communication just an ongoing challenge. So the question for us was kind of like, how are we going to really give voice to someone for whom speaking and, day-to-day language is just such a challenge? And we basically spent a lot of time with her in which we watched as she worked with some of her speech pathologists who just do an amazing job in helping her get out the words that are all so clearly in her mind, because her mind is 100%. It's just the connection from your mind, your brain to your mouth of getting the ideas out. So we kind of decided to make the speech therapy really part of our story, that the viewers could watch that really difficult but really inspiring process.
Thank you for that, Julie. Betsy, I want you to expound upon this for me, because as Julie said, that you guys decided to show her progress during that time, and it was difficult. She basically had to learn how to live her life all over again, but she was lucky because she had a tremendous amount of support, and I can't imagine someone going through what she went through and not having the support that she had. But having said that, did you guys ever think twice about shooting in the hospital, shooting her therapy, shooting all of that, the skull surgeries and all of that? Did you ever think that there would be a day of regret on either one of your parts in pulling back the curtain on such a vulnerable place for everyone involved?
Yeah, I mean, I think we were so grateful to Gabby and to her husband, Mark Kelly, that they really did open up their lives. And it is fascinating to watch how a person learns how to speak again. And the other thing I have to say is that we were so lucky that Mark Kelly, in addition to being at the time an astronaut, also knew how to pick up a video camera. And he did that and started filming Gabby's recovery in the very early stages. And it just is a window into what a person can overcome, and also the amazing work that speech pathologists do, how they help people access the words that are there and the use of music. That's the other thing that kind of makes this story, I think, more joyful than you might expect it to be. You're thinking, oh no, someone can't talk, how depressing. But in fact, to watch how the speech therapist worked with Gabby and with her love of music to access language and to help her regain her life and to change her life. I mean, that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was very inspiring to watch. I'm not gonna lie, I was in the ugly cry at one point, but I'm always in the ugly cry at one point with y'all's films. Y'all get me every time, like right here. I don't know how y'all do it, but you do it to me every single time. You suck me in, and I can't get out. But I love you. I love y'all for that. I am like one of your number one biggest fans. I know both of you know that. I've never spoken to you before, Betsy, but I've spoken to Julie quite a few times, and I'm your number one fan, just so you know, if you didn't know before now. But I want to back it up just a little bit before I let you guys go and talk about working on these projects. You all always seem to find women that have tenacity and strength and fortitude. You always find those stories and you always bring them to light. Do you ladies do that on purpose? Or does it just end up that way?
Coincidence.
Carla, I think we have to be honest and say we do it on purpose. I mean, we started our RBG project, and we just found once that got into the world, we heard so much feedback from women and frankly from men also. Like, we want to hear more of these women's stories. It's incredible. And there are so many just beautiful kind of undertold stories to tell. So we went out looking and we found a lot, and they really just keep pouring in.
What's coming up next for you guys? Can you tell me?
Well,
Like, yeah, no.
yeah, not quite. We are looking into another very inspiring woman who had a big impact, and just stay tuned. We'll be happy
Give me
to
a little bit of a hint. Just a
music is a key. Music, but anyway, yes, we're it's really been an opportunity as filmmakers, frankly, because as Julie said, so many of these stories just haven't been told, and we're very happy to do it.
Listen, one more question before I let you go, because I like to do what I say and I say what I do. But I want to ask you just one last question about Gabby. How is Gabby doing? And what is the most important lesson that both of you walked away with after working with her? Go ahead, Betsy. I'll let you start first.
Gabby's doing very well. She's been working extremely hard to help her husband, now Senator Mark Kelly, be reelected in Arizona, and we'll find out how that worked out in another day or so. And I think you cannot spend time with Gabby Giffords and not come away feeling like, okay, I've got some problems and I've been whining about this stuff, but come on, she has such an optimistic point of view, and it makes you want to adopt that as well and just kind of keep on going.
Do you echo that sentiment, Julie?
Yeah, when Gabby rides her recumbent bike every morning in Tucson, which is a scene that we include in the film, she's doing two other things beyond bike riding because she's a multitasker. One thing that she's doing is she brings a little trash picker so that while she's going through her community, she can be picking up trash and putting it in a little bag because she's like trying to help out and serve at every opportunity. And the other thing she's doing is blasting 80s on 8 and singing the 80s pop songs that she loves. And I think if all of us could bring like those two elements, like what am I going to do to help other people and what am I going to do to express my own joy to every task, like that would be a pretty good way to be. I mean, you can't do much better than following Gabby Giffords' example.
I echo those sentiments exactly. And you guys bring me joy and inspiration with every single project that you have. I mean, seriously. So I had no idea who Pauli Murray was, but I do now. And I'm so grateful that I learned about her from you guys. And I'm so grateful that I learned more about Gabby Giffords and Ruth Bader Ginsburg and whoever else you have coming down the pipe. Wink, wink.
Well, we're so psyched we were on as the same night as Wakanda Forever. So this is a big
Oh no, we're not trying to do that.
We're just the lead-in. We're the lead-in to Wakanda Forever.
You're the lead-in to Wakanda Forever. You heard me say that. You're like, oh no, really? No, I wasn't going to do Wakanda Forever and then talk about. I'm like, let me bring my ladies in first, and talk to them, and then hype everybody up, and then we'll go into Wakanda and the Black Panther and all that stuff. But I just want to thank y'all one more time, Miss Betsy West and Miss Julie Cohen, for joining me live. I appreciate y'all so very much. Thank you for carving time out for me. I always carve time out for you. I'm glad that you guys are carving some time out for me and supporting another sister in the struggle. I really do appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Now I'm gonna kick y'all out one by one. So don't be affronted. I'm gonna take Betsy out first. Bye, Betsy.
Bye.
Bye, Julie. And now, there we go. All right. So you guys, I love them. I love them so, so very much. I love them to death. That was Miss Betsy West and Miss Julie Cohen. Please, please, please check out their films. Their films are RBG about Ruth Bader Ginsburg. My Name is Pauli Murray. And their recent one, Gabby Giffords Won't Back Down. Those are all documentaries. Do yourselves a favor and check them out. So now on with the show. So let me talk about my boy Brandon. I always got to give him some love every week. So he's telling me that he says that his webcomic is going great, and that he's been eating his Hero Academia and Loud House and planning on seeing Pinnochio. And let me tell you something, that I'm gonna talk about Guillermo del Toro's Pinnochio in a little bit. You don't understand. You saw the trailer for Zootopia Plus, and I got some Zootopia Plus interviews for you, Brandon. I got you. It looks awesome, and hopefully they'll make a Zootopia 2 after that. So the Zootopia Plus thing is a series. It's like 6 short 8-minute vignettes, but they are freaking hilarious, and I love them. I'll tell you all about it in a little bit when I get those interviews up. And then Brandon also told me that he'll be playing Sonic Frontiers tomorrow on his Switch and can't wait for Sonic Prime on Netflix next month. Thank you, Brandon, for always coming in and saying hello to me and letting me know what's going on with you. I love you for it, baby. Now, let me tell y'all something. I told y'all that I had been at the AFI Film Festival, and I was at the AFI Film Festival, and I saw a booty load of films. I saw, what did I see? I saw Selena Gomez's doc, which was the opening night doc. I saw Bruiser. I saw, what else did I see? I saw, um, Is That Black Enough for You? The Fablemans. I talked about Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. I saw Nanny, and I saw Bardo. Baby, it was a busy week for me last week. It was busy, busy, busy. But let me come back on camera so that I can talk about all these films and tell you exactly what I feel about all of them, because every last single film that I saw was really good. It was absolutely excellent. So let me talk about this first one, the opening night film, which was Selena Gomez's doc, and I think it's called All by Myself. I think it's called, yeah, it's called Selena Gomez, My Mind and Me, and it's a documentary that follows her during a 6-year period of her career. It documents her struggles with fame, her physical and mental well-being in the wake of her diagnosis of lupus and bipolar disorder. What they also chronicle is the fact that she has some major struggles going on, from being and have after effects of being a Disney kid, because once you start on a Disney show, there's an expectation for you to behave a certain way. I have to give it to Zendaya. Zendaya has very successfully busted and shattered whatever people think a Disney kid is supposed to be like. She's done all kinds of projects. None of them were fluffy and light, like Shake It Up, which we did together, or her other show that she did. Um, but Selena struggles with that, and they chronicle that in this documentary. They talk about her insecurities around her talent. They talk about how she handles it all with grace and dignity and maturity. And they show that, even though this young lady is gorgeous, she's beautiful, she has this wonderful gift of singing and acting, and she struggles with lupus and bipolar disorder. But at the end of it all, she's a human being, y'all. She's a celebrity, but she's a human being. And that is the biggest thing you're going to take away from seeing Selena, My Mind and Me. It is streaming right now on Apple TV Plus. Now, Bruiser is a film that was directed and written by Miles Warren. It stars Moonlight. If you remember that movie, Moonlight, Barry Jenkins' Moonlight, the one he won the Oscar for, one of the leads in that film was a young man named Trevante Rhodes. He's in that, one of my favorite actors ever. Shamir Anderson is in it, and Jalen Hall, who's riding the crest of the wave of playing Emmett Till in Orion United Artists' film Till. This is a film about generational violence, toxic masculinity, and is contrasted with the role of a mother and Christian values and forgiveness in a 14-year-old boy named Darius, who's played by Jalen, trying to find his place among his friends and family. He attends a private school that's paid for by his hardworking yet stern father, played by Shamir, where he's sometimes bullied. His mother is striving to keep the household calm between the son and the stepfather, and nurturing Darius as much as she can. But when Darius befriends a stranger who actually ends up being his biological daddy, I know it sounds like a soap opera. I know it does. The family dynamic begins to unravel, and that the stranger, who is not really a stranger, is actually has a reputation for violence. And violence brings violence, and soon Darius must reckon with the role nature and nurture play in who you become. This is an excellent film showing the toxic masculinity between Black men. Because there's one thing to show toxic masculinity, but showing it between two Black men is a very different thing altogether. It also shows the father's love, because even though his biological father and the person that he's been calling dad all these years, they love him. They love him so much that the two of them go at odds about how he should be raised and who should be supporting him. It's beautifully shot. There's this opening shot that's very thematic and very powerful. And when you see the film, you'll know exactly what I mean. It's originated from a short, I'm being told, by the producer Joel Ross, who I actually met at a screening of Bruiser before the AFI Fest kicked off. I met him there, and I was asking him some questions, and he told me that this feature film is based on a short, and now this is the expansion into a feature. The performances by all of the actors in this film are fantabulous, and it will leave you feeling some kind of way, in a good way after the credits have rolled. And it also leaves you with violence comes in all forms, right? But how that violence is, it's always interesting to see where the violence comes from and where that behavior originates from. So I know that's a lot to take in this one film, but trust me, it is really worth the watch. Am I Black Enough for You is going to be on Netflix on November 11th. And it is a documentary that is produced and written and directed by one of our premier, most talented OG film critics, Elvis Mitchell. It tracks the history of Black cinema and focuses mainly in the 70s Blaxploitation area. And it shows and he does so with archival footage, new interviews with many of the key players from that era, like Judy Pace, Antonio Vargas, Margaret Avery, a plethora of people, right? And it talks about the origins of Blaxploitation. Like, I would clown Blaxploitation films all the time, as a lot of us do, but I didn't know the origin of it. I didn't know why they were so popular, and I didn't know why they disappeared. And this documentary explains all of that and how it has evolved over the decades, even past that era. It's also a cinematic history lesson from one of the greatest film critics of color, Elvis Mitchell. It comes on Netflix November 11th. The Fablemans. There's been a lot of talk about The Fablemans. I saw The Fablemans at TIFF. I saw it again at the AFI Film Festival, and I'm glad I saw it a second time. It's directed by Steven Spielberg for Universal Studios. It will be out on November 23rd, right in time for Halloween. It's about growing up in a post-World War II era in Arizona with a young man named Sammy Fableman, who discovers a shattering family secret and explores how the power of films can help him see the truth. This is a little insight into Steven Spielberg. We see throughout the film, we see glimpses of things in his films, his biggest blockbuster films. We see glimpses of them along the way. And I think I said this before when I talked about it being at TIFF. Michelle Williams, who plays Mitzi, his mother, and Judge Hirsch, who plays his uncle Boris, are perfection. If they don't get nominated for some awards, I'm going to feel some kind of way, because they are bringing it within an inch of their life. And it also shows divorce from a Jewish point of view, because I don't think anybody that is not kosher knows what that is or knows how a family of Jewish faith deals with that. So we see how all of that is handled. And let me just give some special props to Seth Rogen, who plays Uncle Benny. His role is very small, but is very integral and is very, very well done. He gives us a vulnerability that I haven't quite seen him do in some other films. And Gabrielle LaBelle, who plays Sammy Fableman, and Cole East, who is hilarious as Sammy's Jesus and sex-crazed girlfriend, is perfection. That is The Fablemans. Let me hit these comments real quick and see what's being told to me. So let's see here. What's being said? All right. So Brandon got another comment for me. He said he's also made a couple of animations for his webcomic characters already. Oh, great. I can't wait to see them. Send them to me on Twitter, or you can send them to me here, and I'll put them up so everybody can see them. Thank you, Iman Getty, for joining the podcast. You love Elvis. Good to know. Yes. And you also wanted to know, so is the protag a stand-in for Spielberg? Yes, the protagonist is a stand-in for Spielberg. And he was at the premiere here in Hollywood last night for the AFI Film Fest. He's a very kind and humble man, and it was really nice to see that from him. All right, let me get back into. Ooh, where am I? Okay, here I am. Okay, I was like, I'm lost. Warning, Will Robinson. Okay, never mind. People that have seen Lost in Space will get that reference. Anyway, Guillermo del Toro's Guillermo del Toro's Pinnochio. Let me say this about Guillermo del Toro. He is the sweetest, kindest little man. You just want him to be your uncle. Like, you see Guillermo del Toro and you're like, I know you're a filmmaker, but can you just be my uncle? He's got that that uncle energy. Like you just want him to give you a hug all the time. You really do. He's just really, really wonderful. And Brandon, I know you're excited for Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio and Puss in Boots and Strange Worlds. I've seen all of them. I'm gonna tell you all about it. Um, but let me finish telling you about Pinocchio. So, unlike Disney's version of Pinocchio earlier this year, this one does not star Tom Hanks, and this one is not a live animated version. It's what do you call it? It's stop animation, and it's what's the word I'm looking for? The precision and the specificity in which Guillermo has crafted this film is absolutely breathtaking. I've never seen anything like it. And he's also telling Pinocchio from a little darker point of view because that's his lane. My man deals with horror. It's not too dark though, to the point where you're like, oh, I don't know if I want to see this, but it's really, really quite spectacular. Um, Especially when he deals with the whale. If you know the story of Pinocchio, you know that Pinocchio gets sucked into this whale and he has to get out with his daddy. But the attention that they paid to this animation wise and the original score from Alexander Desplat is, oh my God, that score is everything. I was singing along with the songs and I had never even heard them before. That's when you know a score is good. But he always has great scores. We've heard his name 5,000 times. He always gets nominated for stuff. The little boy who plays Pinocchio, Gregory Mann, is absolutely spectacular. He just embodies it. I understand he's never done a film before, but you would never know it because he's handling it like a pro. And I'm looking for great things for him moving forward. So that's Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. Nanny is a Blumhouse joint that's written, directed, and produced by Nikyato Jusu. It's going to be on Amazon December 16th. This also played at the AFI Film Fest, right? So this is a heartbreaking yet timely story about an immigrant nanny, Aisha, who is piecing together a new life in New York City while caring for the child of an Upper East Side family and is forced to confront a concealed truth that threatens to shatter her precious American dream. Let me tell you something. Anna Diop and Michelle Monaghan are doing the damn thing. They're spectacular with how they navigate these roles of white women privilege versus Black women in a what is appeared to be as a subservient role, but Aisha is none of that, honey. She's not standing for any of it. But it also can show you how the loss of a child can just take you into a space that is just not healthy for you. But at the same time, showing us what Black love looks like without regret and full of massive, massive support. It's called Nanny. It's going to be on Amazon December 16th. It was at the AFI Film Festival this weekend. You really don't want to miss it. And last but not least, I saw the closing, no, so The Fablemans was the closing night film. The opening night film was Selena Gomez, and somewhere in the middle was Bardo, False Chronicles of a Handful of Truths. It's going to be on Netflix December 16th, and it is directed, written, and produced by Alejandro Inarritu. Now, if that name sounds familiar to you, remember that movie Birdman that Michael Keaton did a few years back? He was the director of that. So this dude has a very interesting way of shooting things. His cinematic landscape and the way he approaches capturing things with a camera is bar none, hands down, bar none. It's so creative and so crazy that you're just like leaning into the screen going, how did he do that? His cinematic vision, y'all, it is absolutely insane. So what this film is about is it's about this acclaimed journalist turned documentarian who goes on an introspective journey to reconcile with the past, the present, and his Mexican identity. Baby, when I tell you Alejandro has gone on an cinematic introspective cleansing of his soul. He lets critics have it. He goes after his culture, like he goes after everything and everybody, but it's autobiographical in a sense, in a comedic sort of horror kind of way. The way it opens will blow your mind. I was sitting there like my head tilted like a little dog that heard a crazy noise. And by the time it was over, I was totally enthralled and sucked in. There's a scene where they send this little baby out into the ocean, send the ashes out into the ocean, but it goes from being like a baby to ashes. The way that that's shot and executed is absolutely beautiful. I don't want to tell you too much about it because it will ruin the film for you. Um, there's also this thing about, you know, the sexual freedom that Europeans have versus the prudeness that we have here in America. You know, you just people in America are so prudish about their bodies. If you see a breast or anything, we're like, ooh, a breast. It's so crazy. But you know, everybody in every other culture in every other country is very sexually free. There's a nod to that. There is a scene, honey, where it's like a mountain of bodies. And for a split second, I thought, are those bodies real? They can't be real. And then they started getting up. I'm like, okay, okay, Alejandro, I see you. I see you. And there's also jabs. I said there's jabs at critics, but there's also jabs at critics and the hypocritical friendships that people have in show business, in the entertainment industry. It was hilarious. This film is extremely complex, but it's hella entertaining. I kind of loved it. It's gonna be on Netflix. So let me just recap what these films are. It's Bardo, False Chronicles of a Handful of Truths. That's gonna be on Netflix on December 16th. Nanny, which is going to be on Amazon December 16th. Guillermo del Toro's Pinnochio, which is coming on Netflix. The Fablemans by Steven Spielberg coming to Universal Studios on November 23rd. Am I Black Enough for You is coming on Netflix November 11th, courtesy of Elvis Mitchell. Bruiser, which is written and directed by Miles Warren, starring Trevante Rhodes, Shamir Anderson, and Jalen Hall. And Selena Gomez, My Mind and Me, which is going to be on Apple TV Plus. It's streaming there right now. Let's go to the comment section, shall we? Let's see what's being said to me. All right. Yeah, so Iman is saying, yes, Brandon Guillermo is so good with European stories. And what did you miss, Iman? Tell me what you missed. And you said, okay, thank you. So tell me what you missed, and I'll recap it for you real quick. All right. So now let's get into this Wakanda Forever, honey. I talked to the cast of Wakanda Forever. And when I say the cast, I mean I talked to Denai Guerrera. I talked to Lupita Nyongo. I talked to Leticia Wright. I talked to gosh, let me get these names. I talked to Alex Livanali. I talked to Mabel Gardena, and I talked to Denai Lupita. Oh, and Leticia Wright. How could I forget my girl Leticia? So you missed the release dates. Okay, great. I gave you the release dates. Okay, cool. Just want to make sure I'm getting everything for you, Iman. And thanks again for joining and tuning in. All right, so let's get into Wakanda Forever. I went to this junket. Let me just say this about Wakanda Forever before I get into these interviews, y'all. There was a whole bunch of drama around this premiere. People were salty. People were mad that, you know, apparently and allegedly there were a whole lot of not Black folks at the premiere. I wasn't at the premiere. I know that. But I did see the film eventually. And I was really glad that I did because this time, Wakanda Forever is going to come by Disney via Marvel Studios. Is coming on November 11th. That's just a few days away, y'all. It's again directed by Ryan Coogler. And in this incarnation, Queen Ramonda, who's played by Angela Bassett, Shuri, who is played by Leticia Wright, M'Baku, who's played by Winston Duke, Okoye, who's played by Denai Guerrera, and Adore Malaje fight to protect their they fight to protect intervening world powers in the wake of King T'Challa's death. When Namor, king of the hidden undersea Noon, alerts them to the global threat of his disturbing plan to thwart it, the Wakandans band together, baby, with the help of the war dog, my boy M'Baku, and Nakia and Everross, and forge a new path for the kingdom of Wakanda. The most important thing that you need to know about Wakanda Forever, Black Panther 2, is that it is a beautifully done tribute to Chadwick Boseman. The opening credits to this film, usually when you see a Marvel film, they hit down, it's big, it's people are screaming, it's a whole thing. When they showed the opening credits to Wakanda Forever, I got choked up at the opening, because what you're going to see is, and this isn't going to ruin anything for you, but what you're going to see is that Marvel block show, and you're going to see images of Chadwick as T'Challa with no music. And it sets the tone for this film. It is a total tribute to Chadwick Boseman. It shows the women in this film being badass and taking charge. It's showing Angela Bassett. I mean, Angela Bassett is just fierce, and she needs to get some love. It's time. You know, we gave her a lot of love from What's Love Got to Do with It, and we've been riding that crest for Angela for a minute, but I'm going to need folks to get on the train and give Miss Angela some love for being the queen of Wakanda, okay? Because she's crushing it this time. Oh my God, she's crushing it. The women are permeating this chapter. They are killing it. Dominique Thorne, who plays Riri, is like a little science geek. She's kind of taking the torch from Shuri a little bit. Shuri's kind of like, you know, giving her a little love and teaching her what's up. And we got these new characters, these underworld water characters. Namor, I mentioned him. He's played by Tanak Huerta. Namora, played by Mabel Gardina. And Atuma, who's played by Alex Livanali. So I have interviews with Alex Livanali and Mabel. And we talk about the whole water thing and how one of them actually know how to hold their breath for 6 minutes. Baby, I was spent. So let's listen to this interview with Alex and Mabel from Wakanda Forever, Black Panther 2. What's up, Mabel and Alex?
I love your makeup.
Listen, I had to come correct. Wakanda Forever. Okay? Okay.
I love it.
So I just have to ask this right in the outset of this interview. I heard through a little birdie that somebody knows how to hold their breath for 6 minutes underwater.
Yes.
So with this new civilization, girl, okay, how did the new civilization has people underwater, right, y'all? When you got that script and they were like, oh, you're going to do Wakanda Forever, but you're going to be part of the new civilization that's underwater. You got to learn how to swim. Do you know how to swim? How did y'all respond to that?
But I don't think any of us had a real imagination of the context of how involved it was going to be. The swimming, the breath holding, the shooting under the water. You know, my first thought when I heard we were going to shoot in the water is like, oh, they'll probably have a tank down there, and then, you know, we'll probably, you know, get some oxygen in between takes.
Yeah.
Everything was on a breath. You know, everyone was up there on the surface. Everyone took a breath. We would go down, get set, ready, action, shoot, and then when the first person would come up, everyone would come up.
Oh, snap.
And you speak. And you speak under.
Okay, can we just talk about that? Like, how are you talking underwater without the water, like, going all the way through your body? She's like, I don't know.
No, I don't know. I think Alex have a technique and I have another technique, but you underwater you need open your eyes and you can see anything. But you need
Visibility is horrible. Visibility is horrible.
No contacts underwater, huh?
Yeah, we you know, we could be this close and you know, you look like a video game from the 90s. You know, that 8-bit, you know, just like squares kind of thing. So that was very challenging, I think, for all of us, and a lot of it just came from our minds, you know, from knowing what was happening, and you know, just do the best that we can. And it looked great.
It did. It looked really wonderful. How long did it take to shoot that one scene where everybody is there, where Namor and the two of your characters are? Everybody's there, standing there, listening to that speech. How long did it take to shoot that? Was it a couple of days? Was it a couple of hours?
As far as days, I'm not sure. I can tell you that was a mix of a lot of different shots.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Maybe yes. Like, yes.
Yes, that was a lot of different shots, and I imagine, yes, it took definitely a while.
So, you know, I am a Howard University Bison, the same as Chadwick Boseman, and so this film for us has a very special meaning for past, current, and future Bisons. So I just want to take this last minute of my time to thank you for being part of Wakanda Forever. It's a very important legacy to my alma mater, which is so is Chadwick Boseman, and I just want to thank you for your part in it, and it was beautiful and it was wonderful. You guys were great, and I appreciate you both.
Thank you.
So much.
It's an honor to be part of this and in some way carry on his legacy, because we would not be here if it wasn't for the Black Panther, for Chadwick. So we're very honored to be part of this train.
Absolutely. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Bye. You guys, they were lovely. And the way that this is shot is absolutely stunning and beautiful. You're really gonna love it. I can't say enough about it. All right. So next up on the docket is Nate Moore. Now, Nate is one of the producers, and let me just preface it now. You're gonna hear me say Howard University a lot. Y'all hear me talk about Howard University all the time. I am a proud Bison. Ain't you what? You know. But yeah, so Nate Moore is one of the producers. I talked to him about the whole underworld water thing. We talk about that block, that Marvel block, and a couple of other things. So take a look and listen to this interview with Nate Moore, one of the producers of Wakanda Forever.
I need a minute. Hold on. Let me get the lead. Hold on. Let me pull the dress down. Let me be right. Get the cords out the way. As a matter of fact, let me just roll that over there.
There you go.
All right. Okay, now we can go. What's up, Nate?
How you doing, Carla?
No, I had to come correct. Had to come correct
You
with the
look
makeup
fantastic.
and everything. You know, I had to be Wakanda ready.
There you go.
I had to be Wakanda ready. But this is what I want to know from you the most.
Yes.
Those opening credits
Yeah.
messed me up. And they mostly messed me up because I am a graduate of Howard University. I'm a Bison, like
sure.
Chad was.
Yeah.
So when the credits rolled without the music,
Yeah.
you could hear a pin drop. I just want to know why y'all made the decision to do that, because it was so powerful to start the film.
Yeah, I mean, we wanted to honor the man. You know what I mean? And I think, hopefully the movie honors the character, but we all wanted to honor the man too. Look, people have seen the Marvel brick enough times. You don't need to see that another time. You know, if we can figure out a way to do it in a way, hopefully that feels respectful and classy and gives people a moment to think about it. That felt like it was worth doing.
Okay, now you know I gotta ask this too, because also as a graduate of Howard University, you could not graduate unless you took swimming. So I'm like, why y'all got the why and you know black people are notorious like I know how to swim.
Yep.
Why do y'all have the other civilization underwater?
Hey.
And why did it take 2 years to develop it?
Look, we were really excited to bring Namor and the world of Talokan to people. And it was something Ryan has been interested in since the first movie, to be honest. And so, in making the movie, we did a lot of swim lessons for a lot of people of all shades, because it is a challenge, you know what I mean? And especially for our performers, who I give all the credit for, to not only be, if they didn't know how to swim, to learn how to swim, to learn how to deep dive, and then to perform. Right, like performing is hard as its own.
Listen.
Now you're having to be underwater and perform and give a performance. I think the fact they took that challenge on was pretty fantastic. And Ryan was pretty insistent that we do it because he wanted it to feel real. He didn't want you to be taken out of the movie by, VFX that would never replicate the real thing. So hopefully it was worth it.
Let me tell you, it was totally worth it. It was the way I have to just tell you, I want to just take this last bit of my time to compliment you. This was the most respectful, most dignified way that y'all could have ever picked up the second chapter of the Black Panther legacy. It was my honor to watch it. It's my honor and privilege to be able to sit here and talk to you today. I can't say enough about it. Thank you so very much.
Thank you for saying that. It's really nice of you to say.
Yeah, of course. I'm going to cut my time short because, That's how I roll.
There you go.
I ain't got no sense. I had to laugh at myself. Honey, what is a life if you can't laugh at yourself? But thank you, Nate, for making me laugh, because we had a good time. We were in there cutting up and carrying on. All right, so next up, I'm going to talk to Miss Denai Guerrera. She played Okoye in Black Panther, and and what I didn't know before doing this with her, she's like a champion swimmer, y'all. She is a champion swimmer. I had no idea that Denai had skills like that. But take a look and a listen with this interview I did with my girl, Denai Guerrera from Wakanda Forever, Black Panther 2. Thank you for your compliment on my outfit, my fit out, and my makeup. I had to come correct.
You look very correct. You look fantastic.
There's this song by Rihanna that we've all heard by now, Lift Me Up, and I want to read you these lyrics and ask you how this pertains to Okoye. So, drowning in an endless sea, take some time and stay with me. Keep me in the strength of your arms. keep me safe, safe and sound. What do these lyrics mean for Okoye during this particular chapter in Wakanda?
You know, I think it very much is about the fact that everyone is in a very, very unprecedented territory, including her. And I think the fact is that she's never seeking to drown. She's always seeking to keep everyone lifted up and secure and on her shoulders, and, you know, securing a nation and the royal family and the security of the nation, and taking out the clowns that come after the nation in any way. But she has to process through grief, and so then she ends up in a place that she did not plan to be in, which is, of course, a place of displacement, disorientation, and where she just has to face herself. And I think the way where she actually ends up, which is in a new place, but it results, it only can happen through a release.
Now, you know, I'm from Howard University. I'm a Bison, and they made us take swimming before we graduated. You can't graduate from Howard without taking a swim class.
That's great.
So I'm like, black people in the water. I'm like, why we got Wakanda with dealing with water and the black people jumping in and carrying on? Because, you know, us in water is just kind of not. It's not a thing. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, I was very much about the water. I grew up swimming, and I swam competitively when I was very young.
Oh.
But so to me, and so I was very excited that there was going to be black people in water in this, because I was like, that's something that we need more of. So we need to see that more. And also, I got really into it, and I didn't realize I wasn't going to be swimming that much in the movie, but I didn't care. So I was like, I got a coach, and I got, I really improved my form, and I was just ready to go. But the thing that really got me was I saw a statistic that said, black kids are 5 times more likely to drown than white kids. And that's no small statistic, and that's a really scary thing. And, we know all the reasons why, the lack of access, socioeconomics, all these things. But it's something that I'm becoming more and more passionate about advocating around, because we need to make sure our kids can swim.
Well, Howard University made sure I could swim, so there's that.
That's great.
But I want to just thank you for your time. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for your strength and tenacity in this chapter of this Marvel MCU film series. And it's been my pleasure to sit down and talk to you.
Thank you. You also. Take care. Good to
All right.
meet you.
Bye-bye. Good to meet you.
The night was so chill. She made me want to go, burn a lavender candle or something. But I loved finding out that she was a competitive swimmer. I would have never known that. Thank you, Denai. All right. So next, I talked to Miss Lupita Nyongo. I love just saying her name. She's so funny. But we talk a little bit about her heritage, and we talk about her swimming too. I talk a lot about swimming. I talk a lot about Howard, and I mentioned the lyrics to Rihanna one more time. So listen to this interview with Lupita, y'all.
Hello, Miss Lupita.
Hello.
It's my honor and privilege to sit in front of you today. I came with my little tribal makeup
I
on.
see that. You're in your Nakia green.
Yes, girl.
I see
I had
it.
to come correct. But I want to find out this from you more than anything else. How did y'all train to do the swimming sequences? Because this is the thing. I'm a graduate of Howard University, and to graduate from Howard, you had to take swimming. Because,
really?
Yeah, because it's notorious that, most black people don't know how to swim. So I was like, okay, my girl is in the water. What is going on?
Well, actually, I knew how to swim. I didn't know how to swim well. I kind of swam like a panicked puppy before I started this film. And so when Ryan sent me a text saying, on a scale of 1 to 10, how well do you swim? I was like, ooh, gotta take some lessons. And so I took lessons immediately, and I went to the extreme. I took this thing called extreme performance training, which is a training that you do underwater. You carry weights underwater, and you walk on the floor of a pool, and it really helps you with your breath capacity and all of that. And I did it. I seen a video of it, and I thought, ooh, I'll never be able to do that. And then before I knew it, in like a week, I was doing it. So I grew a lot and gained some really good underwater skills.
It looked like it, because you jumped in that water with confidence. I'm like, okay, my girl is going all the way in. I was very excited. And then doing a little bit of research about you, I found this out, that you're a Mexican Kenyan?
Yes, I was born in Mexico.
Okay.
So yes, I have Mexican nationality.
Okay, so do we think we're going to infiltrate Wakanda with the Mexican and the Kenyan all together?
I don't even know which side I would choose. They both have a really good point.
That is hilarious. There's one other thing that I want to address. The women of Wakanda are all smart, gorgeous, capable, and warriors. The training this time around was a little more intense and a little different than the first time around because you guys had more to do. Was your training even more intense than the water training for this particular chapter?
I would say that the water training for me was like the most intensive, and it's so precise because, you know, when you're dealing with water, you really have to surrender to the water, you know, because one wrong move and it's not going to look good, you know. The physical training was also quite intensive as well. Yeah, it was, but mine was very streamlined as well. In this film, our characters, the way the structure of the story is, our characters are in very different places. So I was not part of the Dora Milaje clique, as I was kind of envious of how they worked out together. Oh, it looked really good.
Well, you looked really good, and I love watching you in any film that you're in, but particularly this franchise. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much. Okay.
I just am so silly. Oh, so okay. So this last interview, last but not least, I know this was a super long show today, you guys, and I'm so sorry, but I had to highlight my women. I had my documentarian women, and I had my women of Wakanda. I got a highlight photo. I gotta show them how they are. You show people how they are. So this last interview is with is one of my favorites, actually. It's with Leticia Wright, who plays Shuri. And I had actually interviewed Leticia earlier this year for another film that she had called The Silent Twins, based on these two twins who were they were British, and they just had a lot going on. It's a very intense story. I can't get into it now, but Leticia had me cracking up. She had jokes, and it was a very emotional interview for both of us. So take a look and a listen to this, and then I'm gonna come back and tell you about the celebration of Asian cinema through Critics' Choice before we go, okay? So take a look and a listen to this interview with Shuri, Miss Leticia Wright.
Hello, Miss Lupita.
Hello.
It's my honor and privilege to sit.
Oops, wrong one.
Oh, hell.
Was I red jasmine on my face?
Both.
Whenever you're ready.
Wow, you're the real pretty.
Hello, my sister.
Hello, you look fantastic.
Look, I had to represent.
Wow.
I had to represent not only for Wakanda, but for HU, because I'm a Bison and a Howard University Bison. You know.
You know?
You better know. I love that.
Okay.
I want to ask you this. That Lift Me Up song by Rihanna, there's these lyrics and it really haunted me, and I want to ask you a question about it, so I'm just going to read them so I don't mess it up. Drowning in an endless sea, take some time and stay with me. Keep me in the strength of your arms. Keep me safe and sound. What do these lyrics mean for Shuri during this particular journey in Wakanda?
Wow. Yeah, that's beautifully written. I think it's parallel to what she's going through, you know. Literally, your emotions are drowning you, and you're trying to find a way out. You're trying to find a way through it, and I think it's a reflection of what these characters are feeling, especially Shuri. You know, we meet her in Panther 1. She's so full of love and light. She's quirky, she's cheeky, you know, creating tech for her brother. She's so safe. There's a protective layer about it. She's so confident. And Killmonger shows up, she's like, yo, you're not gonna do anything to my brother. And even to the very end, she just believed in her brother and his power. And I think we see her in this film and her heart is broken, and we just follow that. And I think this song that Rihanna wrote and Thames and Ludwig and Ryan, just collaboratively, this is a beautiful, beautiful tribute to my brother. Yeah.
The whole film was incidental. I mean, it was just beautiful from beginning to end.
Yeah.
But you know, I gotta keep it light. So, water and black people.
Ooh,
you know, the two don't mix, especially when it comes to swimming. So I want to know about them underwater scenes for you, sis. Break it down for me. Break it down.
So Ryan's there, going through the script. This is what's about to boom, 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 section. Then he gets to the bit he's like, yo, Tish, you know how to swim? I'm like, what? Swim for why? I was like, that's the Talakanil. Like, they good over there. We on land. They could come over here. It's like, no, you need to know how to swim. So that was a big challenge. I think all of us collectively in our separate areas had to learn how to swim. I had to learn to swim in London. I was being taught by the team at Stratford, the Olympic Centre. They teach literally Olympians and stuff like that, and train them. I didn't end up being Olympian level, so don't expect that from me. But it prepared us. We came to Atlanta. We had a great team there, tank work, and Black people, we got in that water. We can handle ourselves in water just as much as anybody else. That was interesting. That was funny when he was asking us. But it, in a way, water is so not only therapeutic, but it's its own. It's like a symbolism. It's like a metaphor in our film, and I think us getting through our fear of the water and enabled us to be a part of so many beautiful sequences in this movie.
Well, it was beautiful for me to be a part of this junket, to be able to speak with you, my sister.
You.
I enjoy your work in anything that you do, but particularly this particular project. So thank you for your time. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you. You look amazing. We got to get a picture together.
Oh,
together.
Let's do it. Because, I just put it on my phone. I love that she was like, we got to get a picture together. Baby, I got my entire life. I love me some Leticia Wright. Leticia is the real deal. All right, so let me tell you about the celebration of Asian cinema. There is this actor. His name is James Hung, and he has been in 5,000 movies. You have seen this face everywhere. This man is 93 years old. There he is with his wife accepting his award for that evening. He is everything. He's been in Chinatown. He's been in Mulan. He's been in if you look up his name, just look up James Hong, Hong, on IMDb, and he has over 500 movie credits. But he was given the Icon Award at the celebration of Asian cinema sponsored by the Critics' Choice Association. And then, of course, I talk about being from St. Louis all the time. Why did Karen Kasama get an award? And she is my St. Louis homie. I was like, girl, we got to take a picture. We got to do it. We got to do it. And then this crazy fool right here, Michelle Rodriguez, is crazy as hell, y'all. She presented the award to Karen, and she talked about how she was a little unknown 20-year-old in Jersey City, and nobody was trying to be bothered with her. And Karen Kusama gave her her first break. It was everything. But all right, so you guys, make sure that you check out. Let me go back to the top. Make sure that you check out what? Wakanda Forever, coming to a theater near you on November 11th, courtesy of Marvel Studios and Disney. Selena Gomez, My Mind and Me, is now streaming on Apple TV+. Go see Bardo. Check out Guillermo del Toro's Pinnochio. You also want to check out The Fabelmans. And on Netflix is that Black Enough for You by Elvis Mitchell. Nanny is streaming on Prime Video and in theaters. It's in theaters, November 23rd, and streaming on Prime Video December 16th. But I'll talk about it again and remind y'all again, starring the fantabulous Anna Diop. She is doing everything in this movie, y'all. Everything. Then there's Bruiser, which I talked about, that was at the AFI Film Festival. And I think that just about does it for everything. You guys, thank you so much for popping in and popping out and saying hello and talking to me through the chat and through the comments. Thank you so much to my boy Brandon and to Iman, who popped in today to say hello. I will be back next week on November 14th, and we'll be talking about the menu, She Said, Bad Acts, The Inspection, and I'll have some interviews from the cast and creators of Zootopia Plus and Good Night Oppie.
Until the next time, y'all, love, peace, and hair grease. Give me some big thumbs up to let me know that you was here. And stay safe out there. Wash your hands. Make sure you tell somebody you love them. Have a beautiful smile on your face. And I'll catch you on the flip side. Oh, well, let me just say one more thing before I go. I'm going to, at the first of the year, I'm going to switch this back to Sundays. Because that day actually works better for me. I'm going to switch it back to Sunday. So at any rate, I just wanted to let y'all know that, but I will be here next week, November 14th. And I will be giving you a recap of the Critics' Choice Documentary Awards, where I am the co-president. It's my first one, so I'm super excited about taking that on. Okay, y'all. Love, peace, and hair grease, and deuces. Until the next time. Bye. Alexa, set alarm for 6:30 a.m.
Alarm set for 6:30 a.m. tomorrow.